Hello and welcome to the Being Reintegrated podcast. I am your host, Tim Wright. I wanted to do this special podcast to show everyone what kind of publication I'm working on for the Treatise of Blessings. I know you've heard a couple of AI renditions of the treatise that I'm working on, but you haven't seen what is being done. Basically, is a general reading guide on the Treatise of Blessings. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and show that to everyone. That way we have the ability to go through it section by section, and I'll show you what that looks like right now. So we got the introductory comments and the method of translation. That is something that is what I wrote, basically saying who the sources were, how to read this paragraph breakdown. So you see immediately that the paragraph breakdown of the Treatise of Blessings has parent parts. There's a total of 10 parts, and those 10 parts have what are called sections in the reading guide, but they're actually paragraphs. So the publication will have paragraphs, and these parenthetical numbers will refer to the paragraphs in that section. So basically it looks like this. Part 1 has 2 subparts. It's the introduction of blessing, which goes over the significance of blessings and the etymology of blessing. And that is paragraphs 1 through 10, essentially. So if you go down here, you'll see in the analytical table, it gives you a lot more information. And the significance of blessings under the introduction of blessings, which is part 1, you'll see sections 1 through 3. The etymology of blessing, 4 through 6. And the difference in blessings, 7 through 10. So each one of the paragraphs has been structured in a way that you can read what the paragraph is about, read the paragraph, and see how it falls into the general reading guide. This hasn't been done before with Martinist works. This is an academic method of breaking treatises into readable and manageable chunks so they can be understood, considered, contemplated, etc. I've seen it done in Buddhist literature. It's called the Sabche. But I have not seen it many times done in Western literature, which is unfortunate because we need a lot of these kind of form critical ways of looking at these texts to understand first what is there. Then we can start interpretation, but first we have to educate ourselves on what the actual text is saying. So this, instead of a commentary, which is what I was going to call it, I'll just call it a reading guide. But we've gone through with AI a few of these sections already. As you see, part 2 is the nature of blessings. So it has temporal versus eternal beings, physical blessings, spiritual blessings, correspondence to divine faculties, and temporal blessings in their divine order, which you'll see the relevant paragraphs right here in these numbers. Now, if you wanted to go more into it, each one of these is the kind of summary of that paragraph, but most people don't want to be told how to think about what they're reading. However, it does give a general view of what exactly the text is saying. So I wanted to go over that. It's not that many pages, it's only 8. Of course, it's not me blabbing like we're doing right now, but it definitely goes into the structural view of the text itself. So this will be made available with the text. Um, and I plan on doing a reading guide for every one of these texts that are translated and made available. So this has 130 paragraphs in the document. And each one of the paragraphs has been analyzed, has been parted out, has been subparted. So this reading guide will give you not only ways that you can look up the information, but also say you don't really care about blessings, but you want to read about the virtue of divine love. You can see under section 8.2, causes of suffering, there is subpart 8.2, there is a paragraph 100 that gives the virtue of divine love. So as you go through this, you can see that it's a quick reference to the entire document, and that these are not necessarily closed documents in the sense that they can't be read as Saint Martin's thinking on other topics. Though it's about blessings as a general planet, there's little cities and countries and continents in it that you can read more about. The fall of humanity. Maybe that'll give you more information about Martinez's Treatise of Reintegration and the fall. Who knows? So what I'm saying is that this is going to have a benefit beyond just obvious reasons of breaking down the text. You're going to see that you can actually use it to get more and more granular as you read into the topics of the Treatise of Reintegration of beings, or you're going into some of the more particulars, and I use that word intentionally, of the Eleukoin, and you're wanting to find out more about these matters. So this is a reading guide for the first text of the Treatise of Blessings. So it's really something I'm kind of proud of. We don't have these, as I mentioned, and we could go ahead and read one of the sections of the commentary, but we've been listening to it in the podcast already. So now what's going to happen is when you buy the book, or at least download it off of academia.edu, it'll have a reading guide with it. That way, this will be something that you can print out for yourself, make reference to. I'm not trying to make any money, just trying to educate everybody on what is actually in these documents, why I am so over the top about translating, acquiring, reading, analyzing, producing, marketing. I'm not making any money doing this. It's about getting the information out to people who are interested in these things in English, and getting quality translations out. Not that others haven't contributed very worthwhile ways, but this kind of work can't be taken for granted, in the sense that you can easily just throw something out there and then say you're done with it. This is not something you just do once and you're done with. The information will grow on you. So as we go through the reading guide, I'm sure you'll return to it multiple times as you read through this document and others, seeing more and more what the Martinist / Martinist views have to give you on your journey. So I'm not going to spend 20 minutes going over everything. That's a long time. But I did want to introduce the general reading guide along with the sections. And these will be keyed to paragraphs in the actual translation. So when it says section, you'll just want to look at that as a paragraph. Um, and then you'll be able to see a really quick overview of what that paragraph says. And if you want, you can drill down and read the paragraph yourself if you're interested in the topic. Naming the 3 great objectives. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. Something new comes out every time. And so, why is that? Because this was analyzed by AI. So, this is a topical analysis of what it actually says. These are not my eisegetical ways of looking at the text. I did not put me into it for this reason. You're getting a very structural, form critical view of what the actual paragraphs say. With the output of AI and the ability to do something of this magnitude, we should use it as a tool rather than just chat about love with it and see what exactly it is capable of. And as you're seeing, it's capable of a lot. It's capable of summarizing and then subgrouping and then grouping information that a human mind would take a long time and would require a lot more of a perspective to give. Um, for instance, when it talks about these, they're obvious topics, but they're not obvious if you don't know how to make them obvious. And that sounds like a little wordplay, but it's not. While you're reading a paragraph, it's easy to get caught into one of these areas of focus, such as, your own agenda, and you're looking at, for your own purposes, the role of temporal powers, disregarding the temporal blessings of glory and the temporal nature of blessings of glory, not even caring about blessings of glory, and just looking at the role of temporal powers, and then redoing a small paragraph in the view of only that limited scope. So you see, by having AI analyze it for us, it takes a lot of the personality out of the document and it puts the document back in proper academic, form critical perspective. Of course, I call this a general commentary. And the reason why is because this is information anybody who is studying the document from a observer point of view will see these topics. So this will give you a very good view of how to look at this document apart from any of the doctrines and dogma that can be inputted onto it from outside sources, because I'm good at that too. Say we wanted to talk about the blessings of glory. I would focus, if I was giving a particular commentary, on the temporal blessings of glory and the nature of blessings of glory, because I would want to talk about the body of glory. But I wouldn't necessarily let you know that's what I was talking about. I would just overall blanket this and that kind of commentary. So you're seeing that if you want to learn about the power of the enemy and trust in divine virtues, you can do so in section 10.2. You don't have to just focus on the holy roller topics or the topics which are a little bit more virtuous that maybe a pastor would look for. If you're looking for more laws and how things are working mechanistically in the universe, you can start to look for those sections and maybe find a little bit more in the thinking of Saint Martin and by proxy the Yellow Cohen than you first thought might be there. So anyway, that's the reading guide. It's not too many pages. It's only 8 pages. But it will help you in the 22, 27 pages and 130 paragraphs of masterful writing by Saint Martin. I've tried to give a concise yet complete guide, so hopefully this will be for you something that can propel you into further studies as you listen to more documents being reviewed, translated, and then ultimately you're getting your reader guide and topical digest of what the text says itself. Once again, thanks for coming by and viewing this podcast, and I hope you enjoy reading the translation.